about the Great Spirit. It will not be long before all is lost.
You're saying the destruction we saw earlier is just the beginning? That...
We won't let that happen.
Why do you want us to kill the Great Spirit so badly? Is it to save our world? To free you, Helganquil, from under its control? Why?
No. My primary concern is validating our findings and analysis, which have taken many years to realize. As such, it is my desire to see how your actions impact and change these systems. However, I will not deny that vengeance also plays a part.
Vengeance? For what?
In spite of our long service to the Great Spirit, our species is on the brink of extinction.
You mean... you're dying?
At this stage, it would be wise for you to talk with the others. Ask them what you need to know. Once you have your answer, return to me. If you agree to help, I shall fix your ship.
Others? Just how many of you are there?
I am the only Helganquil who inhabits Dake Phasal.
Hey! Hey!
It's no use. I think it's done talking to us. Let's take a look around.
You can't seriously be buying anything that creature told us, right? I mean, it's practically blackmailing us into doing its dirty work.
To be honest, the conversation went on for so long, I'm not sure I understood all of it. How about you, Dohalim? Were you able to follow it at all?
At the very least, everything it said about the Renan Great Spirit adds up. At the end of the day, this whole chain of events comes back to astral energy. That being said, had we not previously encountered the will of Dana, I suspect I would find its story much more difficult to believe.
The spirit of Rena wants to see Dana completely destroyed.
But why? Astral energy is supposed to be a force that creates and shapes the world.
It doesn't matter. I don't care if we're up against an entire world or what its game is. We're not going to let it destroy Dana.
Right.
There is one other thing that concerns me. How the Great Spirit, the Helganquil, and the Crown Contest are all part of a centuries-long plan is clear enough. But what about the Renans? How do they factor into all this?
Now that you mention it, and all that talk, Hevric 35 never even brought up the Renans once. And as for the Helganquil, we never did find out just what they are either.
Maybe it had a reason for keeping its silence. Or perhaps there's even more going on. Maybe the others will shed more light on the matter. Let's find out. Who are they?
What is it?
Oh, my apologies. It's just been so long since I've seen any humans from the outside world.
Are you a Renan?
Oh, yeah, I guess so. The Overseer told us to answer any questions you might have. Whatever you want to know, we'll tell you as much as we can. But be quick. Our subjects are undergoing a dramatic shift that we don't want to miss.
What a weird guy.
He must have meant Hevrecht 35 when he mentioned that Overseer.
And what was that about subjects? You don't think he meant Dana and Rena, do you?
There isn't anyone else we can talk to. I guess we should ask around here.
Have you guys lived up here?
Yes. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head just how long it's been, though. We regularly go into stasis, so our sense of time has gotten rather out of whack over the years.
Why are you all even here in the first place?
Originally, this station was where we worked to perform maintenance on Lenegis from the outside.
We heard that the facility ended up in its current location due to an accident.
Oh, it was terrible. Apparently there was some kind of accident, and when help never arrived, they presumed the entire facility had been destroyed.
And you've been working for Hevrecht 35 ever since?
Well, at first we thought that there was nobody else inside the facility, but then it turned out the Overseer was there all along.
What do you mean?
The Helganquill have the technology to cloak themselves around us Renans. As long as they don't do anything obvious, a Renan won't see one, even if it's right in front of them.
Which would explain why Shion and I failed to notice the Red Women previously. Do they employ an astral art of some sort?
I haven't been able to scientifically confirm it for myself, but from what I understand, the type of cloaking they use is primarily achieved through mechanical means. In addition, they also used hypnosis devices and information control to get us to do what they wanted without being detected. It's a pretty sophisticated operation, especially since it avoids any unnecessary conflict. I have to imagine that's how Lenegis is still run.
But aren't the Helganquill themselves controlled by the Great Spirit? If so, why aren't Renans affected by it in the same way?
The Great Spirit's mind control only works on Helganquill, so they had to employ other means to manipulate us Renans.
You act like this didn't affect you personally. If I was you, I'd be mad as hell at their deceptions.
I mean, sure, I was surprised when I first found out about it, but it happened so long ago.
Hevrecht 35 has clearly ceased concealing itself, though. Why is that?
Who can say? My guess is it just got bored, or maybe even a little lonely.
Don't you want to go back home to Rena or Lenegis? Our ship is going to be fixed pretty soon. You could ride with us.
No way. If we went back after knowing the truth, they'd either just brainwash us or purge us outright. After all this time, there's nothing to be gained from going back. We've all agreed it'd be best to simply stay here and watch everything unfold instead. Things are going just fine with the Overseer. Not that it'll be around much longer. It can't extend its life any further. That said, I'm sure it's pleased to see the final stage of the plan before it passes on, though.
Thank you for answering our questions. Can we talk to you for a few minutes?
Sure. It's going to be a while.
Please, tell—
You mean the—
Well, for starters, where'd they come from?
Where else? From Rena, obviously.
From Rena? Wait, are you telling us those things live right alongside the Renans down there?
Of course not. There's really no such thing as Renans in the first place.
Excuse me?
Oh, I thought the Overseer explained everything.
Apparently not.
Please, tell us more.
Well, in a nutshell, the Renans were originally created from Danans by the Helganquil.
But if that's true, then that would mean there aren't any people on Rena.
There aren't, but there are Helganquil. That's what the name literally means in their language, people of Rena.
But what need could they possibly have to create a whole new race of people?
It was a way to bolster their dwindling workforce. I trust you're aware that the Helganquil are on the verge of extinction, yes? In essence, we were created to carry on their work for the Great Spirit after they all die. They gathered Danans who had an affinity for astral arts and proceeded from there. That's why we, as their descendants, can all cast arts, albeit to varying degrees.
Let me get this straight. Are you saying Renans were originally created from Danans that the Helganquil kidnapped?
Wait, that explains why almost nobody can use Astro Arts on Dana now.
Helganquil technology is truly amazing. The way they alter their bodies is far less invasive than your conventional surgeries. They have these tiny machines that are practically invisible, which they insert into their bodies and—
Enough! You needn't tell us anymore.
How can you speak so calmly about all of this?
I guess I can see how, when viewed in a certain light, their ways may sound grotesque. But if you ask me, I think they ultimately did us a favor. They saved us from crawling the earth in ignorance. If it meant their hands had to get a little dirty in the process, then so be it. Anyway, the Helganquil are the real Renans. Personally, I don't think it's such a big deal. They're also mostly the ones behind what you see going on between the two planets. I think that covers just about everything worth knowing.
I see. Thanks for filling us in.
Does he really expect us to believe that Renans never truly existed? How absurd.
Dohalim.
Just when I think we're getting to the bottom of it all, some new revelation smacks us in the face.
Then let's hope this is our last revelation for a while. Do you know anything about a spirit channeling plan?
If you mean the first plan from 300 years ago, then yes. Do you know what its main objective was?
Yes. It was to use Lenegis to siphon off Dana's astral energy and send it to Rena.
Exactly. However, there were two problems we had to consider. First was how to collect and send such a large quantity of astral energy without it becoming sentient. Second, we had to figure out how to convert Dana's energy so it would be compatible with Rena.
I take it the solutions to those problems were to use the wedge for the collection, and then the Sovereign and Maiden to convert the energy.
We have a winner! However, the first plan failed when the Sovereign was overwhelmed and became frenzied. The reason for that is because the Maiden lost control. I'm told he slaughtered many Renans and Helganquil that day. For the next plan, we tried to recreate the Renis Alma, but we didn't have nearly enough of the other non-dark astral energy types. To amend that—
And the crown contest.
Correct. A new sovereign. It was such
So that's what the
What about the flower?
flower? As I'm sure
Hevric 30.
it is. Are we done?
He talks like
You've got to remember.
it feels.
Seriously.
I know all.
Agreed.
Everything
And to get then,
plus.
Either way, why don't we all...
that's a good. If the because it's not. So let's. Sure.
I could have.
I figured I.
I'll go along.
Sounds good.
Everyone's just gone their own way, huh?
Yeah. Let's hit up each spot. Everything.
Right.
Well,
But if
no.
Really?
Make one.
Oh,
He.
I know that we're
What do you?
on some level, but if that, as for
How so?
coexist in my case, so
You kept.
you mean it, but
I know, and
Even just, I think it.
Well,
Yeah,
it's no.
right. In a worse.
and we all...
That's an.
It's true. It won't. But I think it. And now.
You both.
How are you, Holt?
Yeah. But I was. Danon's.
It would.
Yeah. But even so, I would.
Renwell.
That great. Dan is.
Now that you met...
Maybe.
We won't. You're not the...
Really?
Did you forget?
It was.
Yeah. Law.
I was too... That would... But all the...
I know that
Oh?
I used. And when I. But that's.
In other...
The thing... All I wanted...
Not every...
Huh?
It's some... Law. Forget...
Yeah. I'll fight...
You mean hearing...
Indeed.
Even...
Let's not I can only.
That's... Well... When you...
Correct. Putting us.
So...
And at the. There is. And the victims.
I didn't...
Menens. There had been.
But things.
Indeed. On that.
Oh?
I wish. As.
And I...
Yes. However. Is it too.
No.
You're too.
That's a.
Then I'll ask.
You don't even...
Thank you.
Well,
What about...
to be honest, right now,
How do you mean?
because I thought I would have. It's been. It wasn't how it felt.
I don't... She... I don't...
Huh?
When we were... She said... That me...
Forgive.
Yeah. If we have...
You know?
It's not... But if we... I'm there... I think that...
Yeah.
Well, there's...
Yes, I.
Well, is everybody ready to do what needs to be done?
I am. There's a lot to think about, but at the end of the day, I don't care who we're up against.
What are your thoughts, Alphen? I want.
Like Law said, if we have to fight the Great Spirit on Rena, it's trying to rob us. That alone. But it's not only that.
You're saying there's a chance?
You're referring to.
Yeah. 3 centuries ago, the astral energy that appeared at the spirit channelings, and to hear Shion.
Indeed. And if Rena.
Shion's.
We don't know any.
While the main body.
Shion.
If these thorns really.
The question is, suffice it as. The way.
And we only know...
Hevric 30. It wouldn't ask. Our minds are made up. Let's go give Hevric 35 our answer.
So if the.
Even with...
First they...
More important.
I just.
Worst comes to.
Wait,
In any case.
Right.
Do you have your answer for me?
We want to ask something first. You're asking us to fight an entire planet. How exactly? You must have something up your sleeve, or else you wouldn't put us up to it.
The great astral spirit is an immense being, but its actual will does not. Rather, its will is derived from the core, which supports the rest of the body, and is where. Therefore, if you destroy the core, the great spirit shall become unable to maintain sentience, and return.
And how are we supposed to
By using the Renus Alma. You will also need the assistance of both the Sovereign and the Maiden. They are our best tools for using their powers. The Maiden shall seal the great astral spirit within her body, and the Sovereign
Hold on. That sounds a lot like what Shion described before.
Yeah, killing herself to take out the thorns with her.
She was actually right all along.
By my calculations, your powers combined should be sufficient to destroy the great astral spirit.
What will happen to the Maiden once we manage to beat the great astral?
Any matter contained within the field of destruction shall be erased.
So it really will kill me.
This method is the most simple one available to destroy the great spirit.
What are our other options?
There is little reason to consider alternative courses of action when the most
You don't get it. I promised Shion that she wouldn't die. That we'd save the world without needing. We didn't fight this whole time just to give up on her at the very end. If there's any other way to take out the great...
This plan shall lead to the fewest losses in preserving your world.
That's...
It is vital that you proceed with this plan. A part of Rena's great... 300 years ago, the Great Spirit descended upon Lenegis in an attempt to... We have reason to believe the Great Spirit left part of itself behind, and...
Which would make Alphen's earlier hypothesis correct.
That part inside the Maiden belongs to the core, and can be used. So long as it remains, it will be all but impossible. That is why it is necessary for it to be... Without the Maiden's direct control over the Great Spirit, attacking it is futile.
No.
Wait. Naori said that the Renus Alma can suppress the self-realization of astral energy. And that the thorns... If so, can't the same also be done to the Great Spirit, seeing as the thorns are simply part of it?
Well, can it?
It is true that the Renus Alma is capable of what you suggest, and could contain...
Yes!
However, doing so requires fine control on the level, considering that the Renus Alma was previously lost when that ceremony failed.
What does that mean for us if you won't...
Your starship will not be restored, and you will all be...
Why you? Alphen?
Whatever we do, if we mess up, Dana's screwed. The Great Spirit will destroy... If you're fine letting that happen, and we have nothing to gain either way, then I'd rather do nothing. We want to stop Dana from getting destroyed. We want to save it. If all you're gonna do is sit back...
Alphen.
What you say is irrational. Be that as it may.
You'll agree?
I am an observer. The Sovereign, Maiden, and Renus... I wish to see how well they work against the Great Spirit in light of our...
But what are we supposed to do about the Renus Alma? One of your buddies ran off with it back on Lenegis.
It is likely that the Renus Alma is with the Great Spirit, functioning...
So our only option to retrieve it is to head straight for the Great Spirit.
According to my observations, the astral energy is most densely concentrated in this...
So right in the middle of that giant flower then.
I have one more question. You've said that Rena's great astral spirit is already integrated with the planet. What will happen to Rena once it vanishes?
Without the will of the Great Spirit, Rena is predicted to collapse.
So you're saying that even if we manage to beat the Great Spirit without destroying...
Likely, the collapse will occur in stages.
Man, I wish that thing had tele...
Hevrek 35 and the others have gotten used to hypothesizing from afar, so fix our starship. We're...
Excellent.
But I want to make one thing clear. We're doing this for ourselves, to protect what matters to us. Remember that.
It matters little to me. The repair work on your starship has commenced. You'll have to wait until it's finished.
Man, is it too much to ask for Hevrek 35 to talk like a normal person? I swear I can feel my brain starting to fry after listening to all that complicated stuff.
Don't...
You still thinking of...
I am.
You're worried...
The fact that our
But you...
Well, even as I dream...
I'm sure...
Now that I think about it,
I'm no saint, but you changed... Thanks, of course. But we knew that when it comes down...
that is...
Yeah, it is. But as soon as...
I understand. Realistically...
Even if we end up... If we can build a...
So you wish for...
Yes, I do. Do you still play?
Indeed I do.
You'll always have a... Well, if you do...
Did you just... Thank you, Keith.
Don't even mention... Don't you think that... Yeah.
Hey, what?
So I wanted to...
Apologize?
I was being I get why you're so...
No, Law. Of course you...
But you...
Yeah, but I think...
Believe?
Remember how...
Yeah, of course.
When we rescued, it was the first, then it made me want...
So that's...
Yeah.
Well, alright.
You will?
There's no way...
That's not quite...
you...
I sensed it, but...
In a way...
What?
Well...
Yeah.
Hefric 35... But... So thanks, Ren.
To
be honest, I feel...
Huh?
Saying...
Come
saying
on,
any...
thinking?
No, that's...
Then spit it out!
You sure you don't want to get some rest? Same as you.
Remember when it was so...
Age is an age.
If I hadn't run, I wouldn't have my...
Hey, Alpha.
Yeah?
If we can't find the... Like Hevric, I need you to... You'll use the Blazing Sword.
Huh?
It's true, the Blazing Sword, but it's taken us this far.
You can't be...
Listen, the Great Spirit, we don't know, I promise you, but if it comes down...
Okay, but you should know that I hope you...
Alphen, okay. So it's...
Yeah.
I remember... But when you read... I don't have words.
That's because I...
Even once you... But still...
You won't have to...
You think so?
I do, because...
No.
Yeah, we should...
Agreed.
Our task is...
We're fighting...
Right.
Then let's go, everyone.
Repairs on your...
Is that you?
I can.
Sounds like someone...
Maybe we should give...
I have unlocked...
Warp drive?
It's possible that...
Using the warp...
Wait.
You'll need to...
So...
We gotta go all...
Will all the...
The extinction as such.
Can't that thing...
Well...
You heard the lady...
I have one...
What?
As Sovereign, your identification number indicates that you are... Similarly, the Maiden lacks any identification number as her... Despite this, the two of you can...
We exist because others have entrusted this...
You mean it is Why have you
It's hard to All right, time to get back on the fall nights.
It would appear that our...
You know what that means.
I guess this means...
There's nothing here. This weird ocean we're surrounded by just stretches out everywhere. Is this really where the Helganquil come from?
I don't sense even a trace of astral energy. This world is... dead.
Then this must be the hollowing.
You mean to tell me this whole world, the entire ocean is... that stuff?
And it's covering everything. The entire planet.
This is what the Great Spirit does. After it depleted this planet of every last speck of astral energy, It went after Dana.
So arresting, this world of doom.
Back in its day, Rena was probably just as vibrant as Dana is. But after being robbed of its astral energy for so long, those days are gone and past. This is all that will remain.
So the Great Spirit took everything. It stole energy not just from living beings, but the land, the sea, everything.
And it bound the Helganquil in servitude until their whole world was nothing but this. And by the looks of it, that's how it remains to this day. A world of death and emptiness.
With nothing left here to consume, the Great Spirit turned its sights on Dana, looking for another host.
You're saying if we don't stop it, this is what Dana's going to look like?
We can be sure that even these few remaining remnants of Renan life will not be spared in the end.
If the oblivion and darkness both Shion and Naori saw comes to pass, nothing will survive. It looks like we can climb down from there. Let's take a look.
So this is Rena. This is where everything began. Yet it's a dead world?
I won't let Dana suffer the same fate, ever.